35-year-old detective, known for solving the most mysterious cases. It all started when I received an urgent call from an old friend, Tom, who was now the sheriff of a small town near a vast, ancient forest. He told me about a series of mysterious disappearances and eerie occurrences that had the whole town in fear. People entering the forest would often return with tales of ghostly apparitions, while some never returned at all. I arrived at the town as dusk fell, casting long shadows over the dense forest. The locals were tight-lipped, their eyes filled with unspoken fears. Tom greeted me at the edge of the forest, a look of relief mixed with worry on his face. "We need to find out what's going on in there," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. With a flashlight in hand and my senses heightened, I stepped into the forest. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the rustling leaves underfoot. The deeper we went, the more the forest seemed to close in on us. The trees, ancient and towering, created an almost impenetrable canopy that blocked out the last remnants of daylight. Suddenly, a chill ran down my spine as I felt eyes on me. I turned quickly, shining my flashlight through the dense underbrush. For a split second, I thought I saw a shadow darting between the trees, but it vanished before I could be sure. Tom noticed my reaction and said, "You're not imagining things. People have reported seeing strange figures out here." We continued deeper into the forest, following a narrow, winding path. The further we went, the more the feeling of being watched grew. Suddenly, Tom stopped and pointed at something on the ground. It was a small leather-bound journal, half buried under the leaves. I picked it up and opened it, revealing pages filled with frantic scribbles and drawings of strange symbols. The entries were dated a few weeks ago and belonged to one of the missing persons. The last entry read, "I can hear them. They whisper my name. I think they're coming for me." A shiver ran down my spine as I read the words. Whatever was in this forest, it was watching. As night fell, the forest took on an even more sinister appearance. The fog thickened, and the temperature dropped sharply. We reached a small clearing where an old, abandoned cabin stood. The windows were broken, and the door hung ajar, creaking eerily in the wind. We decided to investigate. Inside, the cabin was filled with old, dusty furniture and more of the strange symbols we'd seen in the journal. The air felt heavy, as if the walls themselves were closing in. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind us, and the room grew colder. Tom and I exchanged a glance, both of us reaching for our weapons. We heard a faint whisper, like a child's laughter, coming from the next room. Cautiously, we approached, only to find the room empty. But the temperature continued to drop, and the whispering grew louder, filling the cabin with an eerie echo. It felt like we were not alone. As we turned to leave, the cabin door burst open, and a figure stood silhouetted against the moonlight. It was a young girl, her eyes hollow and her expression vacant. She raised a hand and pointed at us before dissolving into the mist. My heart raced as I realized we had just encountered one of the forest's restless spirits. We left the cabin and continued our journey, our nerves frayed and our senses on high alert. The forest seemed to shift around us, the path we had taken now unfamiliar. We stumbled upon an ancient stone circle, its surface covered in the same strange symbols. In the center lay a large, flat stone, stained dark with something that looked disturbingly like. Tom knelt down to examine it, his face pale. "This is an altar," he said quietly, "an altar for dark rituals." I felt a cold hand grip my heart as I realized the true nature of the forest. It wasn't just haunted by restless spirits. It was a place of dark magic and ancient rituals. We were about to leave the circle when we heard a low, menacing growl. Turning around, we saw a shadowy figure materializing from the darkness. It was tall and menacing, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through our souls. The air grew thick with an oppressive force, and the ground seemed to tremble beneath our feet. The figure raised an arm, and a wave of dark energy surged towards us, knocking us off our feet. I felt a cold, suffocating fear as the spirit loomed closer. Tom struggled to get up, his face twisted in terror. "We need to get out of here. Now," he shouted. Desperation gave me clarity. I remembered the journal mentioning a ritual to banish the spirits. With trembling hands, I began to chant the ancient words, hoping against hope that it would work. The spirit roared in anger, its form flickering as if caught in a violence. The ground shook, and the air crackled with energy as the ritual took effect. The spirit's form wavered, and it let out a final, ear-piercing scream before disintegrating into a cloud of dark mist. The oppressive force lifted, and the forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. We stumbled out of the stone circle, exhausted but alive. The forest was silent once more, but the feeling of being watched had vanished. We made our way back to the edge of the forest, the first light of dawn breaking through the trees. Tom and I exchanged a look of relief and exhaustion. We had faced the darkness and survived. Back in town, we reported our findings. The disappearances stopped, and the town slowly returned to normal. But the memory of that night stayed with me, a reminder of the dark secrets hidden in the depths of the ancient forest. This experience in the ancient forest was the most terrifying of my career. It reminded me that some mysteries are never fully solved, and that the unknown can be the most terrifying thing of all. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments. Until next time, stay safe and keep your lights on.